I'm Kristen Stavros with Stavros Homes, and I'm here to answer the question that all sellers ask me and probably themselves. And I'm hoping to help visually answer that with a few graphs because I love when data tells us a story. And I'm a big fan of showing when we can instead of telling. So this is data for the last 5 years, all of Whidbey Island, all price ranges, and the data will change if you are in, say, $1 million or more, or if you're in that really popular price range of 400 to 600. So if you want to see these numbers crunched for your specific property, your specific price range, we are always delighted to have a no obligation consultation with people thinking of selling their home and wondering if they would like Stavros Homes to be their consultant, their advisors. But for your interest's sake, we are looking at homes for sale. So total homes for sale. Each little dot on this graph is a collation of the whole month's data. But what you can see right off the bat is there is a nice little cycle over the last 5 years. We see the troughs. So this is the fewest homes for sale on Whidbey Island in the December, January, February point. And you can see that every year. It drops down to the bottom in that December, January, February. It's not an ideal time to list a house for a couple of reasons, for actually a handful of reasons. So you'll see that low inventory. It tends to peak out in terms of homes for sale towards the end of summer. So you'll see August, September, and then it starts to fall off October, November, December. Again, here, this was 2024, June, July, and then peaked out in August, started to drop off September, October, November. So people go back to school, or kids are going back to school. People are done with the summer. They're starting to get serious again about a regular routine. And that's just not a time that people are wanting to put their home on the market unless they really have to. So that's homes for sale. The most important data point we want to know is when are those actual sales closing? So when are we seeing money get into the hands of sellers? And it follows kind of the same cycle. So when homes come on the market, buyers come out of the woodwork. When buyers are usually waiting for, a bunch of choice, and sellers are waiting for a bunch of buyers to be around to be serious and going under contract. So we really do see that the top of the buying season is starts ramping up March, April, May, peaks out June, July, August, sometimes all the way into September, and then drops after that. Pending sales is a totally, so here, I want you to pay attention to this. So May 2025, June 2025, July 2025, and there was a dip in August and then up again in September and then down. So other than that little dip, closings kind of stayed on this nice trend. Well, that changes when you go to pending. So this was homes going under contract, but some of these never made it to the closing table. So you can actually see that closings in August, when we saw that dip, would have been pendings in July, because it usually takes about 30 days from it when it goes pending to when it goes closed. And we must have seen quite a few homes drop out of contract and not make it to the closing table. And that really did feel, last summer really did feel that way. There was some solid activity, but you just didn't know if you were actually going to make it to the closing table, which is why I talk to my sellers about how important it is not to just go under contract, but to actually make it all the way through all the inspection period, be prepared for that, and just have it be very smooth. And that takes a lot of work and due diligence and thoughtfulness and strategy at the forefront, which is what we excel at and we love. So if you are interested, again, in me crunching these numbers for you, if you're thinking about selling, we would love to be interviewed for the position. And once you hire us, we've got a whole bunch of steps that will make sure that you don't end up in one of these positions where you get a buyer, you go pending, but then you don't get your money and you don't close and you got to go back on the market with all that stigma. It's just a real bummer. Give us a call. Shoot us a text, send us an email. We would love to talk. Take care.